Alright, my lovely people, I got the SPY behind me on both screens. We streamed today. We went to market close. I thought it would be a more eventful close. After hours, it didn't do much, but I'm going to talk about the events to look for tomorrow. What happened today? What caused this 600-point down day? Honestly, it could have been a lot worse. And some of the stuff, I think there's going to be a White House briefing. I don't know if it's happening right now or when this video is going to come out. But there's going to be that, we're going to see, we saw some data in the morning, but tomorrow we have more data. I talked about it at the beginning of this week, but it's interesting to see how the markets developed here. But the main story, you could go, I made a 20-minute video on it yesterday on Apple. They cut their guidance. I go over it. We read the filing and talk about that and give some, thoughts on it. But we also recapped at night. There was, currencies globally were going down, and that's what I want to talk about because a lot of the stuff that went down today, the good thing, there was the payrolls, the private number, the ADP payrolls, and they went up. Even private sector went up a substantial amount. However, the ISM manufacturing numbers, and we've been seeing this from, we've been seeing manufacturing from us and in China and all over, they're all hitting contraction levels, some worse as the financial crisis. I think this was the worst ISM number for us since 2016, I believe. But then now you also had big one-day changes. Delta, they reported they got crushed, and that hurts transports. And now I'm going to make another video on this. I'm going to probably post it tonight on the dislocation and the disjointing because there is certain things right now in the market that are, detaching in transports, and Delta and what happened there is one of those. So I'm watching that, but that's what happened today, and they had the biggest one-day change since their 2010 or something, or no, 2016, excuse me, but it was the second biggest drop. It was since 2010. It was Berkshire Hathaway, biggest one-day change. They got smoked, and now they own a lot of Apple. Surprisingly, Buffett's been buying into them recently, but pretty shocking. So there's that. What else was there that we had? Rates, one thing. Interest rates now, they're going down. And gold. Those are two big things that we kind of brought up on the stream. And I'm going to talk, I still haven't discussed, the main reason why it's down. Oh, I should say too, if you guys are new, subscribe to the channel, come to the stream tomorrow morning. We're trading live from market open to close. So you could come in. We got a pretty cool chat room in there. You could ask questions. You could watch me trade some options live. And also check out the free stock trading course if anything's ever confusing for you. But yeah, had to say that. But gold, and that I'll start there. One, it's approaching the $1,300 level, and I showed it in the Russia video. I think I might show you guys here. Just in general, I did bring this up on stream, so if you did turn on the stream or if you want to go watch the recap, you'll see this. But here it is. So yeah, I already had it up ready to go. Here's the 10-year. And you see it's been dropping. This is kind of coming into right now, but the thing I want to note, is observe what happened here was October. Coming into October, it went up, and then this is October 24th. So we started dropping October 10th, right? Or 4th or 5th or 6th, I think. And rates hit the top. They drop, come back up again. That's the 18th. Drop. That's at Halloween. Then they rise up coming into November. Then all through November, literally all through November, they just start dropping. Then December comes, and then it plummets. It keeps plummeting, but imagine what the S&P did. And now, here's the S&P today. Again, it had somewhat of a pop, but it gapped down, and this was all Apple related. But let's see here. So you see, since October, there's October. November was interesting, and we might even see something like this. You saw with the rates, it gapped up, it went up, came down. November was a very volatile month, and we could be setting up for something like that. But then, depending on, we'll see how other things escalate. Again, I'm still watching oil. I think that's something big to watch, especially with how the global currencies. But what I'm showing here with rates going, or the stock market going down, rates going down, and then we could bring up gold and its relation to, again, I brought this up with all the Russia and oil, and in this month, January, really, It's not my January effect is comparing it to 2015. I think we are looking like when the first oil crash started, but what I'm saying here is that asset prices are decreasing. You know, you're seeing gold and certain commodities, gold and silver, go up, but asset prices, that's why rates, when you start to see overall, even now the dollar, the same trend occurs with the dollar, you'll see the dollar collapse, but here's gold, and that $1,300 mark is pretty important. You know, here's the last 5 years, you're pretty much at the same price it was at in year 2014, but again, coming into the end of 2015, gold started dropping, and then coming in from pretty much October, November, it just started ripping up. And that was the first oil crisis, then it came down, but we kind of got something here, but this is a lot bigger. So gold's making a pretty upward move, and that $1,300 point on gold is very, very, very important. So watch that. And the final thing here, you know, here's the play. I made 3,000 on what I sold so far. The ones I talked about, I gotta let it focus, but I still have the rest of the play. So realized 3,000 so far, but the main thing today was Apple. There was Apple, and also Celgen got a buyout, and we talked about them. They got, I don't know if the buyout is an offer, if it got confirmed, but Celgen went up. That brought a lot of things up, and you know, buyouts occurring, you know, that is, some people would say that's a sign, you know, and we're seeing a lot of big signs, and that's even what today with the market going down, I think that's something very important to keep in mind, is that, you know, we're seeing just 2019 is going to set the trend, and if you start to see some big mergers and acquisitions like that, like Celgen's a big company. One of my friends, if you guys have, I've put him in some videos, he owns a substantial amount of them, and you know, this is big. I'm very surprised that they got bought out, but that's also, you know, large M&A activity. People like to buy when at the top, you know, they're trying to exchange now their cash and their stock and exchange it for real assets that they own if they think a drop is coming. So that's interesting with Celgen, but the main story here was Apple. And Apple, you know, what we were looking at stream, I recommend you guys watch the recap, or the stream itself, or the recording, but I'll overlay Apple in the SPY, but pretty much we were looking at kind of what happened. You know, Apple really, it dropped at first, then the SPY caught up with it, then they went, Apple was leading in the SPY, but it's going to be something to watch. But that is what brought the market down, and it gapped down. And somebody asked this, and I'm going to make another video on this, but somebody asked now, can the market gap down, or how do you know if the market's going to gap down? And you don't really know, and especially with this market we are in a certified bear market, you know, and a characteristic of that is volatility, and that's what I was explaining with Apple, where, and that is, you know, if you are confused today, that was the biggest issue, because it brought fear for investors. And maybe before I go into the other topic, I should explain this a little more, in that the Apple situation was huge. I talked about it yesterday. You guys, so that's why I say watch the video as the news came out, but you could see I was excited in that video and what I was talking about. But this is something this is 12-month out news. You know, I was even saying in the morning, I don't even care what happens to Apple today. You know, the news that came out was not short term. This was very long-term piece of news that's going to come out, have an effect, and that's what I really, really want to pay attention to. But this sparked growth fears, you know, and people are scared. You know, I even talked, my 2 videos yesterday are very important, because this added another element. You know, right now we're watching the government shutdown. That has the ability, this is the perfect storm, essentially. The government shutdown could boil out and turn into bad stuff with both the budget, the government, all that. That's one. The Brexit situation and everything going on in Europe, France, and all that, that blows up their economy, and that's not doing good. Then you have Russia, oil, and everything going on there, and pretty much Russia enters in another oil crisis. Then you have China trade war, and then you have, I think that's pretty much it. All those blow up, that's your perfect storm, but that's kind of scary right now. And even the main point with all of this is, like, even seeing 2019, you know, but the whole point is that this is contagion. You know, there's all these things, and pretty much Apple is worrisome, because yesterday we were looking at other factors. We were looking at oil, and Russia and that contagion fear spreading, but then now it's shifted to Apple. So this brought the markets down a lot, and now it didn't go down too much, and this is what I was waiting for after hours, and this is the main thing, is the Fed meeting tomorrow. So at about 10 a.m. the Fed's going to talk. I think they're even doing, Nancy Pelosi's having a government shutdown meeting at 11:30 a.m. So it's going to be action-packed, and tomorrow, today's the first day that they got to come in, the Democratic, the real House now, the majority, so we're going to see what's happening, but there's going to definitely be changes. So watch for that. We're going to be on stream. I hope you guys are ready. Fed Powell speech. It's going to be nuts, I hope, or we'll see, dovish or hawkish. Go watch the recap. It's good. If you like this video, give me a comment. And give me a comment, some video ideas so I could know what to make for you guys, all right? Love you all. Peace.